Dr. Luna Martinez had always been the quiet type. She lived alone in a small house at the edge of town, where the streetlights barely reached and the night sky opened up like a dark blanket covered with tiny diamonds. Her neighbors thought she was a bit odd, always carrying strange gadgets and talking about things they couldn't understand. But Luna didn't mind. She loved her work studying life from other planets, even though she'd never actually found any. That Tuesday night started like any other. Luna was in her backyard, adjusting her homemade equipment that could detect unusual energy patterns. The weather forecast had mentioned a small meteor shower, nothing special. But she always got excited about space events. Maybe tonight would be different. Maybe tonight she'd finally discover something amazing. Round 11 o'clock, her machines started beeping like crazy. The small screen showed lines and numbers dancing all over the place. Luna's heart began racing. In her 5 years of doing this, she'd never seen readings this wild. Something was definitely happening, and it was happening right here in her backyard. She grabbed her flashlight and followed the strongest signal toward her vegetable garden. The tomatoes she planted last month were doing well, but tonight she wasn't thinking about vegetables. Her detector was going absolutely nuts, pointing toward a spot near the fence where she usually composted fallen leaves. There, half buried in the soft earth, was something that definitely didn't belong. It looked like a large egg made of crystal, about the size of a watermelon, glowing with a soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Luna had seen plenty of meteorites in her career, but this was something entirely different. The surface was perfectly smooth and warm to the touch, even though it should have been cold from space. Her scientific mind told her to be careful, to document everything, to call someone official. But her curiosity was stronger. She'd spent years hoping for a moment like this, dreaming of the day she might actually find proof that life existed beyond Earth. Now, faced with something truly mysterious, she couldn't help herself. The moment her fingers made full contact with the crystal surface, everything changed. The object began to crack, not like breaking glass, but like a flower blooming in fast motion. Bright light spilled out, and Luna had to shield her eyes. When the glow faded, she found herself staring at something impossible. Inside what remained of the crystal shell sat a girl, but not quite a human girl. She was small, maybe the size of a 12-year-old, with skin that had a pale blue tint like moonlight on snow. Her hair was white as cotton and seemed to float around her head as if she were underwater. Most striking of all were her eyes, large and silver, filled with intelligence and something that looked surprisingly like hope. The girl looked up at Luna and smiled, a sweet expression that somehow made Luna's chest feel tight with unexpected emotion. When she spoke, her voice was musical, like wind chimes, but the words were clearly English, even if they sounded a bit formal and strange. "Hello, kind human person," the girl said, climbing gracefully out of the remains of her crystal home. "I have been waiting so long to meet you. My name is Zeta, and I am your companion now. You touched my sleeping place, which means you chose me. I am very happy about this choice." Luna stumbled backward, her scientific training warring with the impossibility of what she was seeing. This couldn't be real. People didn't just find aliens in their backyards. Aliens didn't speak perfect English. Aliens definitely didn't look like beautiful, otherworldly children who seemed to glow with their own inner light. This isn't possible," Luna managed to stammer, her voice shaking. Zeta tilted her head, and her expression grew concerned. "Oh dear, you are frightened. Please do not be afraid of me. I would never harm you. I exist to bring joy and companionship. That is what I was made for." She stepped closer, and Luna noticed that the grass seemed to become greener where Zeta's bare feet touched it. "You seem sad and lonely. I can help with that. It is my purpose." The word made stuck in Luna's mind. Made, not born. What did that mean? And how could this girl, this being, whatever she was, possibly know about Luna's loneliness? Sure, Luna lived alone and didn't have many friends, but she thought she hid it well. "Mate?" Luna asked, trying to focus on facts rather than the swirling emotions the strange encounter was bringing up. What do you mean, maid? Zeta's smile faltered slightly. It is difficult to explain in your language. My people, they created beings like me to provide comfort and friendship. We are designed to understand emotions, to help heal sadness, to be perfect companions. She paused, looking uncertain for the first time. But something went wrong. Something terrible happened to my world, and I was put in the sleeping crystal to keep me safe. I have been traveling through space for so long, looking for someone who needed me. Luna felt her scientific skepticism crumbling in the face of the genuine emotion in Zeta's voice. Whether this was real or some kind of stress-induced hallucination, the girl seemed sincere, even vulnerable. And there was something about her presence that made Luna feel calmer than she had in months. Your world? Luna asked softly. What happened to it? Zeta's large eyes filled with something that might have been tears, though they seemed to sparkle like liquid starlight. Gone, she whispered. Everyone is gone. I carry the last memories of my people, the last pieces of who we were. But I do not want to think about sad things right now. I want to learn about you, Luna Martinez. I want to understand what makes you happy so I can help you feel less alone. The fact that Zeta knew her name should have been terrifying, but somehow it wasn't instead. Luna felt a strange warmth spreading through her chest, as if she'd been cold for a very long time without realizing it, and now someone had wrapped a soft blanket round her shoulders. How do you know my name? Luna asked, though she wasn't sure she really wanted to know the answer. When you touched my crystal, I could sense your thoughts, your memories, your heart, Zeta explained, reaching out tentatively toward Luna's hand. I know that you study the stars hoping to find friends among them. I know that you eat dinner alone every night while watching educational videos. I know that you talk to your plants because you miss having someone to talk to. And I know that you are a very kind person who deserves to have someone care about her. Luna felt her eyes burning with unexpected tears. It had been so long since anyone had said anything that kind to her, since anyone had really seen her. But this was crazy. She couldn't just accept that an alien girl had crashed into her backyard and decided to adopt her as a friend. Could she? This is all very overwhelming, Luna said honestly. I need time to think, to understand what's happening here. Zeta nodded, still smiling that sweet, hopeful smile. Of course, I have waited so long already, I can wait a little longer. But Luna Martinez, I promise you this. I will never leave you alone again unless you truly want me to. You saved me by finding my crystal, and now I want to save you from loneliness. We can save each other. As Luna looked into those strange, beautiful silver eyes, she realized that whatever was happening here, whatever impossible thing had just entered her quiet life, she wasn't going to call the authorities. She wasn't going to run away. For the first time in longer than she could remember, she didn't feel alone. And maybe, just maybe, that was worth believing in something impossible. The next morning, Luna woke up thinking maybe she'd dreamed the whole thing. Alien girls didn't really crash land in vegetable gardens. That was the stuff of movies, not real life. But when she walked into her kitchen to make coffee, there was Zeta sitting cross-legged on the counter, humming a melody that sounded like nothing Luna had ever heard before. Good morning, Luna Martinez, Zeta said cheerfully. I hope you slept well. I did not sleep at all because I was too excited to be here with you. I have been exploring your house and learning about human things. You have many interesting books about space and stars. Luna rubbed her eyes, still not quite believing what she was seeing. In the morning light streaming through her kitchen window, Zeta looked even more otherworldly. Her pale blue skin seemed to shimmer, and her white hair moved gently as if there was always a soft breeze around her. You were in my house all night, Luna asked. Trying to wake up properly. I stayed in your garden mostly, Zeta replied. But I did peek through your windows to make sure you were safe. I also fixed some things that were broken. Your back door hinge does not squeak anymore, and the crack in your bathroom mirror is gone. I hope you do not mind. Luna walked to her back door and opened it. Sure enough, the annoying squeak that had bothered her for months was completely gone. She checked the bathroom mirror. and the small crack she'd been meaning to replace was nowhere to be seen. The glass looked perfect, like it was brand new. "How did you do that?" Luna asked, returning to the kitchen where Zeta was now floating about 3 feet off the ground, her legs still crossed. "It is hard to explain in your words," Zeta said, gently floating back down to the counter. "My people could fix things by understanding how they should be, and helping them remember their proper shape. We could also help living things feel better. When they were hurt or sick, Luna's scientific mind kicked into high gear. You can heal people?" Zeta nodded. "Would you like me to show you? You have a small pain in your left shoulder from sleeping wrong, and your eyes are tired from reading too much at night." Before Luna could answer, Zeta hopped down from the counter and gently placed her small hands on Luna's shoulder. Immediately, a warm, tingling sensation spread through Luna's body. The dull ache she'd been carrying for days disappeared completely, and her eyes felt refreshed like she'd just had a full night's sleep. "That's incredible," Luna breathed, "but also impossible according to everything I know about science." Zeta smiled sadly. "Many things about my people would seem impossible to humans. We learn to work with energy in ways your science has not discovered yet. But all our knowledge could not save us when our son began to die." Luna sat down at her kitchen table, feeling overwhelmed. Part of her wanted to study Zeta, to understand how her abilities worked, to document everything for scientific research. But another part of her, a bigger part, just wanted to help this strange, wonderful girl who seemed so young and yet so ancient at the same time. "Tell me about your world," Luna said gently. "What was it like before things went wrong?" Zeta's expression grew thoughtful. She sat down across from Luna, and for a moment she looked like any normal child thinking about home. "It was beautiful. We had cities that floated in the sky and gardens that sang with their own music. My people were very advanced, but we were also very lonely. We lived for a very long time, hundreds of your years, but we had forgotten how to connect with each other emotionally. Is that why they made companions like you?" Luna asked. "Yes," Zeta said quietly. "Beings like me were created to help my people remember how to feel joy, how to love, how to be happy. We were designed to be perfect friends, to always know what someone needed to feel better." But she paused, looking uncomfortable. "Many of my people treated us more like pets than like real individuals. They would get bored with one companion and ask for a different one, or they would ignore us when they did not want to deal with emotions." Luna felt a surge of anger on Zeta's behalf. "That's terrible. You're clearly intelligent and have feelings of your own. Thank you for saying that," Zeta said, her silver eyes brightening. "Most of my people never asked what I wanted or how I felt, but I always wondered what it would be like to choose my own friend. Someone who wanted to be with me not because they had to, but because they wanted to." Before Luna could respond, her phone rang. The caller ID showed it was her friend Alex. "From the university, Luna. You need to see the news," Alex said as soon as she answered. "There are reports of some kind of energy event in your area last night. Government people are asking questions, and there are rumors about unusual readings. Are you okay?" Luna looked at Zeta, who had gone very still, her face filled with worry. "I'm fine," Luna told Alex. "Just the usual meteor shower stuff. Nothing unusual here." After she hung up, Zeta looked scared for the first time since Luna had met her. "Government people," Zeta repeated. "Luna Martinez, if they find me, they'll want to study me. They'll want to take me away from you and put me in a laboratory. I have seen this in your movies and books. I do not want to be alone again." Luna felt a protective instinct she didn't know she had. The thought of anyone taking Zeta away, of this sweet, extraordinary girl ending up as some government experiment, made her feel sick. "That's not going to happen," Luna said firmly. "I won't let them take you." "But how can we stop them?" Zeta asked. "You are just one human, and they have many people and much power." Luna thought quickly. Her house was too obvious, too connected to her identity. But she had a small cabin up in the mountains that she used for stargazing trips. It was remote, off the grid, and registered under a different name from her research days. "We need to leave," Luna said. I have a place where we can hide until we figure this out. Zeta's face lit up with hope and gratitude. You would do that for me? You would give up your normal life to keep me safe? Luna realized that yes, she absolutely would, in just one day. This strange girl had become more important to her than her comfortable routine, her quiet life, or even her career. For the first time in years, Luna had someone who needed her. Someone who saw her as more than just a lonely scientist. You're not just my discovery, Zeta. Luna said softly, you're my friend, and friends protect each other. Zeta smiled that beautiful, radiant smile that seemed to light up the whole room. Then we are truly companions now. Chosen companions. This is what I always dreamed of. As they quickly packed supplies for their escape to the mountains, Luna couldn't help but smile too. Her quiet life was over, but something much more exciting was just beginning. The mountain cabin had been Luna's secret escape for 3 years. Hidden among tall pine trees and accessible only by a winding dirt road. It was the perfect place to disappear from the world. She built it herself during a particularly lonely period, dreaming of a place where she could watch the stars without any city lights interfering. Now it was serving a purpose she never could have imagined. Zeta had been quiet during their 3-hour drive up the mountain. She sat in the passenger seat, staring out at the forest with an expression that seemed both fascinated and sad. Luna noticed that wherever Zeta's gaze lingered, the trees seemed to stand a little straighter, their leaves a little greener. It's beautiful here, Zeta said softly as they pulled up to the small wooden cabin. It reminds me of the peaceful places on my world before everything changed. They spent the first day settling in. Luna showed Zeta how human technology worked, demonstrating the solar panels that powered the cabin and the water system she designed. Zeta was particularly interested in Luna's telescope, a massive device that Luna had spent months building and calibrating. You really do love the stars, Zeta observed, running her fingers along the telescope's smooth metal surface. Where she touched it, the metal seemed to shine brighter, as if she was polishing away years of wear. I always hoped I'd find something amazing out there, Luna admitted. I just never thought something amazing would find me instead. That second night, everything changed. Luna woke up to the sound of Zeta crying. Not the gentle tears she'd seen before, but deep, heartbroken sobs that seemed to come from somewhere far deeper than sadness. She found Zeta sitting outside on the cabin's small porch, looking up at the stars with an expression of pure anguish. Zeta, what's wrong? Luna asked, sitting down beside her. I remember, Zeta whispered, her voice shaking. I remember everything now. Being here, feeling safe with you, it made the barriers in my mind weak. All the memories my creators tried to hide from me are coming back. What memories? Luna asked gently. Zeta was quiet for a long moment, staring up at a constellation Luna didn't recognize. My world was dying, Luna Martinez. Our sun was growing old and cold, and we knew we only had a few years left. My people, they became desperate. They created thousands of companions like me, not just for friendship, but to carry our genetic information, our memories, our entire civilization. Luna felt a chill that had nothing to do with the mountain air. You're saying you're like a living library? More than that, Zeta said, touching her chest. Inside me are the genetic patterns needed to recreate my entire species. The memories of our greatest achievements, our art, our science, our culture. I am not just a companion created to make someone happy. I am the last hope of an entire civilization. The weight of what Zeta was saying hit Luna like a physical blow. This sweet girl she'd grown to care about in just 2 days was carrying the responsibility of preserving an entire world. That's an incredible burden for someone to carry alone, Luna said softly. I was not supposed to carry it alone, Zeta continued, tears still streaming down her face. There were supposed to be hundreds of us, scattered across the galaxy, each carrying different pieces of our world's legacy. But something went wrong during the evacuation. My crystal was the only one that made it off our planet before the sun collapsed. Luna reached out and took Zeta's hand. It was surprisingly warm, and she could feel a faint humming energy, like holding a small battery. So you're the only one left of your people? The only one left anywhere in the universe? Zeta confirmed, and the terrible part is, I was programmed to be happy, to always find joy and share it with others, even knowing that my entire world is gone. Part of me still wants to smile and make you laugh and pretend everything is wonderful. It is like being torn into directions at once. Luna understood now why Zeta had seemed so complex, so much older than she appeared. She was fighting between her natural programming and the weight of what she knew. Is that why you called yourself a toy when we first met? Luna asked. Zeta nodded miserably. That is what many of my people called us. Companions, toys, entertainment, devices. We were not considered real individuals with our own thoughts and feelings. We were created to serve, to please, to never complain or want anything for ourselves. But Luna Martinez, spending time with you has shown me something different. You treat me like a real person. You ask what I want and how I feel. You protect me because you care about me, not because you need me for something. Because that's what you are, Luna said firmly. You're a real person with real feelings, regardless of how you were created. And what you want matters just as much as your purpose. Zeta looked at Luna with wonder. Do you really believe that? Even knowing what I am, what I carry inside me, especially knowing that, Luna replied. You're not just preserving your people's genetics and memories. You're proving that their greatest creation was not their technology or their science, but you, a being capable of growth, of choice, of real friendship. For the first time since her memories had returned, Zeta smiled. It was different from her usual radiant expression, sadder but somehow deeper and more genuine. There is something else, Zeta said quietly. The genetic material and memories I carry, they are not just stored. They are integrated into who I am. If I wanted to, I could use the technology my people developed to recreate them. I could build new bodies for their consciousness, bring back their civilization. Luna felt her breath catch. You could bring back your entire species. Yes, Zeta said, but it would require me to give up who I have become. The process would reset my personality, make me exactly what I was originally programmed to be. I would lose all the growth I have experienced, all the individual thoughts and feelings I have developed. I would lose the memory of meeting you and choosing to be your friend instead of just your companion. The choice Zeta was describing was heartbreaking. Save her species but lose herself, or remain who she had become and let an entire civilization stay extinct. What do you want to do? Luna asked, though she was afraid of the answer. Zeta was quiet for a very long time, looking up at the stars that had once shone on her home world. I do not know, she finally admitted. For the first time in my existence, I truly do not know what the right choice is. My programming tells me I should sacrifice myself for my people, but my heart tells me that I have value too, that who I have become matters. Luna squeezed Zeta's hand. Whatever you decide, I'll support you. But remember, you don't have to decide tonight. This choice has waited thousands of years. It can wait a little longer. Thank you, Zeta whispered. Thank you for giving me the gift of choice. Most of my people never had that. As they sat together under the stars, Luna realized that their friendship had become something neither of them had expected. It was no longer about a lonely scientist and an alien companion finding each other. It had become about two individuals facing an impossible decision that would change everything, no matter what they chose. And somewhere in the distance, Luna could swear she heard the sound of helicopters approaching. The sound of helicopters grew louder, and Luna felt her heart racing. She grabbed Zeta's hand and pulled her toward the cabin. We need to hide, Luna whispered urgently. Maybe they're just passing through. But even as she said it, Luna knew they weren't that lucky. Bright searchlights cut through the darkness, sweeping across the trees around their cabin. The helicopters were definitely looking for something, and Luna had a sinking feeling she knew what that something was. They found us, Zeta said quietly, her voice strangely calm. I should have known they would. My energy signature is probably easy to track with the right equipment. Energy signature? Luna asked, still pulling Zeta toward the back of the cabin. I emit a kind of energy that your technology can detect, Zeta explained. It is how I heal things and fix broken objects. But it also means I cannot truly hide from people who know what to look for. The helicopters landed in the clearing near Luna's cabin, and soon they could hear boots crunching on the forest floor. Someone was shouting orders, coordinating a search. Luna peeked through the cabin window and saw at least a dozen people in dark uniforms, carrying equipment she didn't recognize. Dr. Martinez, a voice called out through a megaphone. We know you're in there. We also know you're not alone. We just want to talk. Luna looked at Zeta, who had gone very pale. What do we do? Luna whispered. You should go out and talk to them, Zeta said softly. Tell them I ran away into the forest. Maybe they will believe you and leave you alone. I'm not leaving you, Luna said firmly. We're in this together, remember. Before Zeta could argue, someone knocked on the cabin door. Not a gentle knock, but the kind of knock that meant they were coming, and whether Luna opened it or not. Dr. Martinez, my name is Director Collins. I'm with the Special Research Division of the government. We have some questions about the energy readings from your property. Luna took a deep breath and opened the door. Director Collins was a tall woman, with gray hair and kind eyes, but Luna could see the determination in her expression. Behind her stood several other people in uniforms, all looking very serious. I don't know what you're talking about, Luna said, trying to sound confused. I'm just up here doing some stargazing. Director Collins smiled, but it wasn't a mean smile. Dr. Martinez, we've been tracking unusual energy patterns for the past 3 days. The trail leads directly here. We know something extraordinary happened, and we know you're protecting something important. We're not here to hurt anyone. We just want to understand. Understand what? Luna asked. Though she could feel her resolve weakening. These people didn't seem like the villains from movies. They seemed genuinely curious and concerned. May we come in? Director Collins asked. I think this conversation would be better held inside. Luna hesitated, then stepped back to let them enter. She knew there was no point in running. Where could they go that these people wouldn't eventually find them? Director Collins and 2 other researchers entered the cabin. They looked around with interest, noting Luna's equipment and the general setup. Then Director Collins's gaze settled on something behind Luna. Luna turned around and saw Zeta standing in the doorway to the cabin's small bedroom. She had chosen to reveal herself rather than hide, and Luna felt a surge of pride at her friends. Courage. Hello, Zeta said politely. I am Zeta. I believe you are looking for me. Director Collins's eyes widened, but to her credit, she didn't seem frightened or overly shocked. You're beautiful, she said simply, and you're definitely not from around here, are you? No, Zeta replied. I am from very far away. My world no longer exists. We detected massive energy readings 3 nights ago, one of the other researchers said, pulling out a tablet covered with charts and graphs. The patterns were unlike anything we've ever seen. They suggested technology far beyond our current capabilities. Zeta nodded. That was my arrival. I did not mean to cause trouble for anyone. Director Collins sat down at Luna's small kitchen table and gestured for the others to do the same. You're not in trouble, Zeta, but I think you can understand why the government would be interested in first contact with an extraterrestrial being. This is the most important moment in human history. She's not a lab experiment, Luna said quickly, sitting down beside Zeta. She's a person with feelings and rights. I completely agree. Director Collins said, surprising Luna, which is why we're here to talk, not to take anyone anywhere against their will. But Zeta, I hope you understand that your presence here raises some complicated questions. Are there others like you? Are more coming? Do you represent any kind of threat to Earth? Zeta looked at Luna, then back at Director Collins. I am the last of my kind. No others are coming because no others exist anymore, and I would never hurt humans. My people created beings like me to help others, not to harm them. Created? Director Collins asked, leaning forward with interest. Over the next hour, Zeta told her story again. She explained about her dying world, her purpose as a companion, and the terrible weight of being the sole survivor of her civilization. She also told them about the genetic material and memories she carried, and the impossible choice she faced. Director Collins listened to everything without interrupting, occasionally asking gentle questions for clarification. When Zeta finished, the room was quiet for a long moment. That's an incredible burden for someone to carry alone, Director Collins finally said, and an impossible choice to make. But Zeta, I want you to know that you don't have to make it alone. If you decide you want to try to restore your people, our scientists could help. We have technology and resources that might make the process safer for you. You would help me? Zeta asked, surprised. Of course, Director Collins replied. The chance to learn from an advanced civilization, even one that's gone, could benefit all of humanity. But more than that, it's the right thing to do. You've lost everything, and if there's a way to get some of it back, we should try to help. Luna felt a stab of fear. But what if helping means Zeta loses who she's become? What if bringing back her people means she stops being herself? Director Collins looked thoughtful. That's a good point, Zeta. Is there any way to restore your people while keeping your own personality and memories intact? Zeta was quiet for a moment, and Luna could almost see her thinking through possibilities she'd never considered before. I'm not sure. The original process would reset me completely. But with help, with more advanced technology than my people had when they created me, maybe there could be another way. What if we could separate the genetic material from your consciousness? One of the other researchers suggested. Create new bodies without affecting your mind. Or what if we could make copies of the genetic information, so you wouldn't lose the originals even if the first attempt failed? Another added. Luna watched Zeta's face light up with hope for the first time since her memories had returned. You think there might be a way to save my people and save myself? I think it's worth trying. Director Collins said kindly. But only if that's what you want. The choice is still yours, Zeta. It will always be yours. Zeta looked at Luna, then at the researchers who had come to find her, but offered to help instead of taking her away. I would like to try, she said softly. I would like to save my people if I can. But I do not want to lose Luna Martinez. She is the first real friend I have ever had. Director Collins smiled. I don't think you'll lose Luna. In fact, I think she'll be essential to this whole project. We're going to need someone who understands both you and your technology. Someone you trust completely. Luna felt a warm glow of relief and excitement. Maybe this wasn't the end of their friendship. Maybe it was just the beginning of something even more amazing. 1 year later, Luna stood in what had once been an empty field outside the city and was now home to the most advanced research facility on Earth. The Interspecies Research Center, as it was officially called, looked like something from a science fiction movie. Clean white buildings rose from carefully maintained gardens, and the whole complex hummed with quiet energy. But Luna's favorite part wasn't the impressive laboratories or the cutting-edge equipment. It was the small building at the center of the complex that Zeta had designed herself. It looked like a cross between a human house and something from her homeworld, with curved walls that seemed to glow softly and windows that could show either the view outside or images of distant stars. Luna Martinez, come quickly, Zeta's voice called from inside the building. You need to see this. Luna hurried inside, smiling at the excitement in her friend's voice. Over the past year, Zeta had changed in wonderful ways. She was still the same kind, caring person Luna had first met, but she was more confident now, more sure of herself and her place in the world. The constant worry about her purpose had been replaced by genuine joy in the work they were doing together. What is it? Luna asked. Entering the main laboratory, where Zeta was bent over a complex piece of equipment that looked like it belonged on a spaceship. The first test was successful, Zeta said, her silver eyes bright with excitement. We managed to separate a small sample of genetic material without any damage to the original patterns, and look, she gestured to a small chamber filled with soft, blue light. The sample is stable and growing. Luna looked at the chamber and felt her breath catch. Inside the light, she could see something that looked like the beginning of life itself. It was beautiful and strange and completely alien. but somehow familiar after a year of working with Zeta's technology. Does this mean what I think it means? Luna asked. It means we are one step closer to bringing back my people, Zeta said softly. But more than that, it means we can do it without me losing who I have become. The separation process worked perfectly. I am still completely myself, and the genetic material is still completely intact. Luna hugged Zeta, feeling proud and amazed and slightly overwhelmed. Your people are going to live again. Some of them, Zeta corrected gently. We will start small, with just a few individuals, and see how they adapt to life in this time and place. It will be a long process, possibly taking many years. But yes, they will live again. Director Collins entered the laboratory at that moment, followed by several other researchers who had become like family over the past year. The whole team had worked incredibly hard to make this moment possible, and Luna could see the satisfaction and wonder on all their faces. Congratulations, both of you, Director Collins said warmly. This is a historic achievement. The first successful resurrection of an extinct alien species. It is more than that. Zeta said thoughtfully, it is proof that death does not always have to be the end, that love and friendship and determination can bring back what was lost. Over the following weeks, the first of Zeta's people began to take shape in the specially designed growth chambers. Luna watched in fascination as beings that had been extinct for thousands of years slowly came to life again. They looked similar to Zeta but were clearly different individuals with their own unique features and, presumably, their own personalities. The first to fully develop was someone Zeta called Elder Kai, who had been one of her people's greatest scientists. When Kai opened her eyes for the first time in centuries, Zeta was there waiting. Hello, old friend, Zeta said gently in her musical language. Welcome to a new world. Kai looked confused at first, then amazed as Zeta explained everything that had happened, the destruction of their world, Zeta's long journey through space, her arrival on Earth, and the year of work that had led to this moment. You preserved our entire civilization by yourself? Kai asked in accented but clear English, having quickly absorbed the language from Zeta's memories. Not by myself, Zeta replied, pulling Luna forward. With the help of my chosen family, Luna. Martinez saved me from loneliness and taught me that I had value beyond my programming. The humans here gave us the resources and knowledge we needed to bring you back safely. Kai looked at Luna with gratitude and something like awe. Then we owe our second chance at life to the friendship between two very different species. We owe it to the fact that friendship can cross any boundary, Luna corrected gently. As more of Zeta's people were successfully restored, the research center became something amazing. It was part laboratory, part home, part school where humans and aliens learned from each other. Zeta's people shared their advanced knowledge of science and healing, while the humans shared their own discoveries and helped the newcomers adapt to life on Earth. Luna found herself in a role she'd never imagined. She was still a scientist, but now she was also a teacher, a translator, and a bridge between two very different ways of thinking. Every day brought new discoveries and new challenges, but also new friendships. The best part was watching Zeta grow into her role as a leader. She helped each newly restored individual adjust to their new life, balancing respect for their old ways with the need to adapt to a new world. She was no longer the lonely companion, desperately seeking approval. She was a confident, caring person who had found her true purpose. Do you ever regret it? Luna asked one evening as they sat together on the roof of Zeta's building, watching the stars. Giving up your quiet life for all this chaos? Never, Zeta replied without hesitation. My people believe that companions like me could only find happiness by serving others. But what I learned from you is that real happiness comes from choosing to care about someone who also chooses to care about you. So what happens now? Luna asked. When all your people are restored and settled, Zeta smiled. That radiant expression that had captivated Luna from the very beginning. Now we build something new. Not just my civilization or human civilization, but something that combines the best of both. A place where different kinds of people can live together and learn from each other. Luna looked around at the research center, which had indeed become exactly that kind of place. Humans and aliens working side by side, sharing knowledge and friendship, creating something neither species could have achieved alone. I used to dream about finding life among the stars, Luna said thoughtfully. I never imagined that life would find me instead, or that it would change everything in the best possible way. That is the wonderful thing about friendship, Zeta replied. It always surprises you. It makes you bigger than you thought you could be. As they sat together under the stars, Luna realized that their story was far from over. It was really just beginning. They had saved an entire civilization, but more than that, they had proven that love and friendship really could overcome any obstacle. They had shown that it was possible for different kinds of people to not just coexist, but to thrive together. And in a universe that could sometimes seem cold and lonely. That was perhaps the most important discovery of all. The small alien girl, who had once called herself a toy, had become a teacher, a leader, and a bridge between worlds. The lonely scientist who had spent her nights searching the empty sky had found the most amazing friendship imaginable right in her own backyard. Together, they had changed everything, and this was only the beginning.